Hey guys, today let's talk about episode 11 of Muteking. Episode 11 starts in the immediate seconds after Vivi exploded as she checks up on DJ, and what kind of implies that the show is meant to be streamed. Anyway, surprisingly she lived, but he has not been purified yet. He wakes up and asks her what she's doing, so off-screen she seems to be sucking the dark energy out of his skin, and the way she phrased it in Japanese implies it might be something a little bit dirtier. Anyway, DJ flashes back to his childhood bullying scene again, only this time Baby Muteki shows up and saves him with his Muteking badge. Is the Muteking badge important? Anyway, Baby Muteki isn't that good, so DJ does his scary octopus thing. Now in episode 9, I thought he turned into his true Octian form at this moment, but this episode it seems like it was a much more normal event, and maybe he just did a karate move or something, and he didn't actually turn into an octopus. I'm seriously now confused if the Octian aliens do have alternative octoforms or not, aside from the one DJ goes into when he sings. Anyway, also in this flashback you can see Muteki's mom, who I'm assuming died based on the fact that no one talks about her otherwise. Anyway, Baby Muteki and DJ part ways, but apparently this is the first time they met, this is how they became friends, and having this happy little flashback purifies DJ. So DJ gets up while Vivi meanwhile is now being fully consumed by darkness. Muteki at this time falls into the corpse blender and DJ immediately dives in to save him. Vivi is horrified by this because she thinks this will surely kill them, and logistically it should have. Meanwhile, outside the building, Helicopter Georgie and Muteki's grandma prepare to plug the Octian tower with the antenna they stole. And at the wreckage of the arcade, the other Octian kids finally launch off in their UFO, which they were obviously stuck inside. Now, it looks way more futuristic than I was expecting based on the shape of the bomb shelter, and it's cool. Anyway, so all the side characters meanwhile continue climbing the tower stairs, but they get locked out from reaching the roof, and they get attacked by the CEO's completely unutilized up till now ninja army. Did y'all know the CEO had a ninja army? Because they've been here since episode 1 too. Literally not done shit until now. Anyway, the ninja army furthermore deploys a series of kite attacks to fight the UFO kids, but the UFO kids have lasers and they shoot them all down pretty nicely. Anyway, somehow DJ and Muteki's power starts to purify and upset the corpse blender, sending a wave of pure energy out into the world. It somehow rejiggers Aurora and Ida, and it stops the lasers so Helicopter Georgie is able to plug the tower. This makes the power go out, and then Sudakin goes all Bruce Lee on the ninja army. Apparently he once read a book about Jeet Kune Do, and now he knows karate. But then he electrocutes himself, but it's okay because he knocks literally all the ninjas down a flight of stairs, except for one of them who escapes, but he defeats him too with his helmet. So they try to open the door, and it's got a password, but on the second guess, they guess that the password is octopus. I'm not sure how they guessed that. I don't know if they really know about the Octians, but whatever, they got it. Meanwhile, at the tower, Aurora has stopped singing, and somehow Ida escapes from the corpse blender, while Vivi shows up in this insane, powered-up form. Ida and Aurora fuse together and become super purified Idol Ida, who suddenly has a 1980s Lin Min-Mei at the end of Macross style going, complete with that 80s style fashion, and a goofy Idol song about how the best thing in the world is going to the beach. Insane powered-up Vivi keeps bashing on the CEO as Super Ida does her Idol song, and she also finds DJ and Muteki at the bottom of the corpse blender. They have a sappy and romantic flashback of their entire relationship, reaffirm their friendship, and Idol Ida somehow pulls them out of the corpse blender. Meanwhile, the side characters continue trekking through the tower and find the CEO's ninjas, who once again continue to fall down the stairs without a fight. Muteki's grandma shows up on a skateboard, meets up with the rest of her family and the extras, and tell everyone to charge onto the control room. Idol Ida continues to sing the rest of her song, and it seems to halfway undo some of the damage to San Francisco. However, finally the CEO stages his counterattack, revealing the Ida who was singing was actually a hologram and stabbing Vivi to death, as well as Ida's robot body with some out-of-nowhere Dr. Octopus claws that he suddenly just manifested. Also, the UFO kids try to ram the tower too, but the CEO impales their UFO with a super long-distance Doc Ock tentacle and causes it to crash. Suddenly, Vivi, a real person, and Ida the robot are bleeding out to their deaths, and Muteki decides to spend Ida's last moments with her as she succumbs to hardware failure. She gets stuck on a logic loop where the only thing she can say is that she's so happy she got to sing on stage, and she thanks Muteki, and as she dies, She chokes up a VHS supercut of their entire romance set to Plastic Love, which is a really nice touch because he was literally dating a girl made out of plastic and was too dumb to notice. But she dies before she can play the whole thing, and then her face falls off. Muteki tells her as she dies to make him one last cream soda, and she says she will as she fully reverts to being a piece of crap disco robot. The magic that brought her to life is gone. And so Muteki cries and cries intensely for his dead robot girlfriend, while on the other side of the room, Vivi continues to bleed out and no one acknowledges it. Finally, DJ and Muteki get pissed off and get ready to beat the shit out of the CEO, but the CEO starts his plan B. He somehow enrages all the dead bodies in the corpse blender and sucks in a bunch of their gasoline to transform himself into his final form, Muteking Black. Okay, time for my reaction and analysis. Now, I kind of waited on this episode because knowing the CEO was Muteking Black clears up a lot of what the fuck is going on in this episode. Now, I've been really impressed with this episode up till now because after the first batch of episodes, this anime has been epically bipolar, swinging back and forth between episodes filled with bleak depression and episodes filled with super happy crazy shit. So last episode was all non-stop depressing revelations, so this episode swings the pendulum back the other way to extreme crazy happy shit, with the exception of the fact that Ida tragically maybe died. Now, she got a super sad death scene, but I mean, come on, she's a robot. They can fix her. I'm assuming someone will probably fix her, although if they do, will Muteki actually marry a robot? At this point, I have no clue how the show intends to wrap up the love story subplot, so this might for all extents and purposes be the end of it, but we'll find out in the last episode if Ida comes back or not. I'm trying to keep straight what the fuck went on with Ida in this episode. So to be clear, Ida's body was in the corpse blender the entire time until the CEO pulled it out. Then Ida, who was a hologram, turned into Idol Ida and was purified to sing that 1980s Sunset Beach song. But then there was also a third Ida who pulled DJ and Muteki out of the corpse blender. Plot hole there, or just way too much crazy idol magic BS? Anyway, so in this episode, the mystery of Muteking Black is also finally cleared up. It's the CEO, and I'm happy with that. The CEO should have always been the final boss, and I wouldn't have had it any other way. So making the CEO Muteking Black is completely cool in my book. Muteking Black is a character that originated as an action figure only evil version of Muteking from a few years back. They also made evil Black Casher and Gatchaman 2 in the same action figure set. I'm hoping they do some cool stuff with him in the last episode. I'm assuming he's just going to sing an evil song. That ought to be fun, I guess. Now, in a very weird twist, let's talk about Vivi for a sec. Now, Vivi was consumed by evil energy, and in this episode, she transformed into a weird alternate form. I do not think this is her Octian form, though. I think, if anything, Vivi partially transformed into Muteking Black. Note the black armor, the significant shoulder pads, and the strange markings on her face, which are reminiscent of the lights on Muteking Black's face. It has these weird lights instead of eyes. Weird. So I guess the trick to turning into Muteking Black is just absorbing a lot of dead people. And it's kind of not cool that they didn't give Vivi her own dying out death scene, but considering she's almost died like the past 3 episodes in a row now, at this point I think she's probably going to ironically survive this anime, assuming that at the end of the show they'll probably bring back all the genocided people of San Francisco and get that corpse poison out of her. I mean, I would love for the show to just leave the entire population of San Francisco genocided, but this show is way too happy to actually do that. And by the way, I have to point out here that I'm straight up confused at this point about what the deal is with Muteki's grandmother. Now, somehow there's a strange living arrangement between Muteki, his grandmother, and DJ. This episode confirms more than ever that she was actually Muteki's grandmother, but up till now I thought she was just his landlord and he was calling her grandmother because she was so old. I might have to rewatch the show to figure this out, but I thought the full situation was Muteki met DJ said, "You can live with me," and then DJ introduced Muteki to his landlord, and Muteki started calling DJ's landlord his grandmother. But if DJ's landlord was actually Muteki's grandmother, then DJ asked Muteki to live with him in an apartment that his grandmother actually owned? That's really coincidental and very confusing. Maybe I understood that wrong. If I did, please tell me what I understood wrong here, okay? So anyway, the final episode, the next episode, is going to be the last battle with Muteking and Muteking Black throwing down in what's, I guess, is going to be a final dance battle. I'm kind of assuming that Muteking is going to easily trounce Muteking Black based on the fact that all the fights in the show have gone down pretty easily. The only problem I think Muteking might have is actually like getting into the same space as Muteking Black to fight him like in a dance battle. Anyway, hopefully they use the rest of the episode to wrap up a bunch of the outstanding mysteries in the show. The only real mystery I care about at this point is what the fuck are the Octians? Do they all have alternate octopus forms, like in the old Muteking, where all the octopuses could turn into like these intelligent octopus life forms? Like, aside for DJ's octopus mascot form, in the dance battles, I've yet to see any of the other Octians can turn into those octopus cats like DJ can. Or otherwise, are the Octians just weird people with candy-colored skin like the Doug Funny Show? I don't know. That's really annoying me, actually. And aside from that, just for Muteking to actually talk to his sister and his dad, I feel like they keep like skating around that one. I don't know if we're going to get like closure for like any of the other minor characters. Like, I mean, I would hope that they would close off Vivi and the kids or like Helicopter George. But we'll see, depending on how much time they waste in the final battle. I'm really hoping the show wraps up nicely, considering all the mysteries they left open-ended. Alright, so that's episode 11. Thank you guys. Come back in a week. I'll have reviewed episode 12 by then. And then hopefully we'll have the final answers about what the hell Muteking was actually about. Alright, I'm Buster Green. Please subscribe. I review robot shows and sometimes I review Japanese superhero shows, and this is a Japanese superhero show, so that's why I'm reviewing it. Even though it's set in America, so go figure. Alright, later guys. Peace out.